The scientific cheat code style. What if the hardest part of learning a language was not the study, but the sleep? What if we could bypass traditional rote memorization by using binaural frequencies to synchronize the brainwaves for maximum retention? Tonight, you will not just rest, you will embed sophisticated linguistic patterns into your subconscious mind while you dream. I want to tell you a story today. It is a story about sleep. Not just any sleep, but sleep that helps you learn English. Many people think language learning only happens when the eyes are open and the mind is working hard. They feel tired. They feel frustrated when they forget. But I learned something important. I learned that the problem is not only in our study methods. The problem is also in how we use the night. The brain can continue learning while we rest. Let me start from the beginning. When I was young, I studied English in school and at home with great effort. My teachers gave us long lists of words. I repeated every word many times. I wrote sentences again and again. I listened to recordings until late at night. I slept only a few hours because I wanted more time to study. I thought more hours always meant more progress. I felt busy. I felt disciplined. I was happy when I finished a long study session. I thought I was doing everything right. I thought I was good at learning English. But then something happened. I noticed that many words I learned on Monday were already weak by Wednesday. I felt confused. I thought maybe my memory was bad. Maybe I needed to study even more. But that was not the true problem. Years passed. I kept studying. I learned more words. I learned more grammar. I did more exercises. But the forgetting continued. Real conversations still felt difficult. New vocabulary still disappeared too quickly. I started to feel that something was missing. Then I met an old researcher. She was a scientist who had spent many years studying the brain and sleep. She worked with people who wanted to improve memory and learning. She understood how the brain works during the day and during the night. I asked her the secret. She smiled gently and told me something that changed my life forever. She said, "Learning is not only about the day, learning is also about the night. The brain does some of its most important work while you sleep." She said, "Our brain is like a smart machine. During the day, it collects information. At night, it organizes that information. It strengthens what is useful. It removes what is not needed. But we need to help it correctly. Most people only train the waking brain. They try to force more study into every hour. They try to catch every single word with hard effort. But this is incomplete. We must also train the sleeping brain. We must give it the right material and the right conditions. I did not understand at first, so she gave me a clear example. She said, "Imagine you are planting a garden. During the day you put seeds into the soil. That is important. But if you keep digging the soil every night, the roots cannot grow. The plants stay weak." Language learning is the same. Study during the day is the planting. Sleep is the growing. Without good sleep, the roots of new words stay shallow. The vocabulary does not become strong. This idea was completely new to me. In school and in my personal study, we only focused on waking effort. We repeated words, we did exercises, we tested ourselves. We almost never thought about what happened after we closed our eyes. This habit was deep in my mind, but this habit was incomplete for real long-term learning. When we ignore sleep, the brain cannot finish its work. Short-term vocabulary stays short-term. Patterns do not become automatic. The brain works too hard during the day and receives no proper recovery at night. Let me explain the science the way she explained it to me, slowly and clearly. During the day, a part of the brain called the hippocampus acts like a temporary notebook. It holds new words, new phrases, and new patterns for a short time. This notebook is useful, but it is limited. It cannot keep everything forever. At night, especially during deep sleep and during the REM cycle, the brain begins a quiet process called memory consolidation. The hippocampus reviews the new material. It strengthens the important connections. It moves the useful vocabulary into long-term storage in other areas of the brain. This happens without any conscious effort. You do not need to study while sleeping. The brain does the work by itself when the conditions are right. She told me that the REM cycle is especially interesting for language. During REM sleep, the brain processes patterns, connects ideas, and improves the natural feeling of language. It does this without conscious effort. If the brain has received clear linguistic patterns before sleep, it can replay and strengthen those patterns during REM. This is one important reason why good sleep helps fluency. The brain is not resting completely. It is working in a different and powerful way. But she said there is a way to support this process even more. She introduced me to binaural audio. She explained it simply. When each ear hears a slightly different soft frequency, the brain creates a third gentle beat inside the mind. This is called a binaural beat. Certain binaural frequencies can help the brain move into calm and restorative states more easily. Some frequencies support deep sleep. Some support the stages where memory becomes stronger. When these soft frequencies are layered underneath a slow, rhythmic, gentle story, the brain can stay relaxed while still receiving clear language patterns. This idea was powerful for me. I realized I needed to change my approach. I did not need only more waking study. I needed better night support. I needed to embed useful vocabulary into a rhythmic, slow-paced narrative designed for the subconscious mind. I needed to layer binaural frequencies beneath gentle storytelling so that brainwaves could synchronize for better memory consolidation. This immersive approach allows linguistic patterns to take root more effortlessly during the restorative stages of deep, overnight sleep. I started practicing the method she taught me. First, during the day, I chose a small number of useful phrases. I learned them actively. I understood the meaning. I used them in simple sentences. I did not take too many. Quality was more important than quantity. I read them in groups. I listened to them in slow, clear sentences. I made sure the meaning was clear in my mind. Then, in the evening, about 30 to 40 minutes before sleep, I prepared a special audio. The audio contained a slow, warm story that used the same phrases again and again in natural ways. Under the story, there were soft binaural frequencies. I made the room dark and quiet. I put on comfortable headphones. I lay down. I listened with soft attention. I did not force concentration. I allowed sleep to come naturally while the gentle language and the frequencies continued. At first, it felt unusual. My old habit was to study until I was completely tired. Now I was stopping earlier and giving the night a clear role. After some nights, I began to notice small changes. Some phrases felt clearer the next morning. Some patterns returned more easily during the day. It was not a sudden miracle, but it was steady and quiet progress. My brain was receiving clean patterns during the day and then strengthening them during the night.
The old researcher had more to teach me. She said the sleeping brain does not like force or excitement. It likes repetition, rhythm, safety, and calm meaning. A slow story creates safety. Soft binaural frequencies help the brain enter deeper rest. Together, they open a quiet door. Through that door, linguistic patterns can enter more deeply. This is why the combination of gentle storytelling and binaural audio is effective. She also explained why many people fail with night audio. They play loud music, they play fast or exciting content, they try to stay awake and force learning. These actions work against the process. The brain needs calm. The goal is not to study while sleeping. The goal is to fall asleep naturally while clean patterns are present, so that consolidation can happen more effectively during deep sleep and the REM cycle. I followed her advice carefully. I protected my sleep. I kept a regular sleep time. I made the room as dark as possible. I avoided heavy screens late at night. Sleep became part of my language plan, not something separate. After several weeks, the change became clearer. Vocabulary stayed with me longer. Listening felt a little lighter. Speaking some patterns felt more natural. I was no longer only studying English during the day. I was also sleeping for English at night. Now let me tell you the big secret she shared at the end. The secret to stronger long-term fluency is not only in harder waking study. The secret is also in smarter rest. When you listen and study during the day, you are collecting material. When you sleep with the right support, you are allowing the brain to organize and strengthen that material. The brain is constantly working. During the day, it collects. During the night, it organizes, strengthens, and stores. When the daytime material is clear and the nighttime conditions are calm, something powerful happens. Short-term vocabulary moves more easily into long-term fluency. Patterns take root more deeply. Think about it this way. When you first learn to drive, everything feels fast and difficult. After much practice and good rest, the same actions feel more automatic. The brain has consolidated the patterns. Language is similar. Daytime practice plants the patterns. Nighttime consolidation helps them become more automatic. Binaural-supported slow storytelling is one way to give the brain cleaner material and calmer conditions for that night work. I practiced this combined method for several months. The change was quiet but real. I forgot less. I recalled more easily. I felt less pressure during the day because I knew the night was also working for me. Movies and conversations still required practice, of course, but the foundation felt stronger. I was not struggling against forgetting as much as before. The fast pressure of constant review became a calmer process of steady growth. Let me share practical tips so you can begin, just as she shared them with me. For daytime preparation, choose a small group of useful words or phrases, learn them actively, understand them fully, use them in simple sentences, read them in meaningful groups. Keep the number limited so the brain can handle them well. Do this with calm attention, not with panic. For nighttime support, create or use a slow, rhythmic story that contains those same patterns. The story should be spoken in a warm, unhurried voice. Layer soft binaural frequencies underneath, frequencies chosen to support relaxation and memory consolidation. Listen in a dark, quiet room as you prepare for sleep. Use comfortable headphones or a safe sleep speaker. Do not force attention. Allow sleep to come naturally. Let the story and the frequencies continue as you drift into rest. One more important thing. Do not expect to remember every word the next morning. The learning is often quiet and gradual. It builds over many nights. Even advanced learners and native speakers benefit from good sleep. The brain needs recovery. Trust the process. If you miss one night, simply continue the next night. Consistency over time is more important than perfection on any single day. I also learned that this method is about confidence as much as science. When you panic about forgetting, the brain becomes tense. When you trust the night work, the mind stays calmer. A calm mind learns better during the day and consolidates better at night. So trust yourself, trust your brain. It is more powerful than you think. It can collect patterns during the day. It can strengthen them during REM and deep sleep. It can move short-term vocabulary toward longer-term fluency when the conditions are right.
The old researcher told me one last thing before we said goodbye. She said, language learning is a journey that includes both effort and rest. It is not only a race of waking hours. Some days you will feel great progress. Some days you will feel stuck. This is normal. The important thing is to keep going with both daytime practice and nighttime support. Small progress every day, supported with good sleep, leads to big results over time. Keep giving the brain clear material. Keep protecting the night. Keep trusting the quiet work that happens in the dark. I think about her words often. She was right. Learning for fluency is not only about magic tricks or secret techniques. It is about understanding how the brain works during the day and during the night. It is about giving the hippocampus clean material. It is about supporting the REM cycle and deep sleep with calm conditions and helpful audio tools. And most importantly, it is about patience and consistent practice across both day and night. Today, I still use this method. I study actively during the day. I protect my sleep at night. I use slow, rhythmic stories with soft binaural frequencies as I drift toward rest. English feels more stable. Vocabulary stays longer. Patterns feel more natural. This happened because I stopped treating sleep as lost time. I started treating sleep as a powerful partner in fluency. I stopped trying to force every word into my mind with only daytime effort. I started working with the natural rhythm of the brain. If you are struggling with remembering new English, remember this story. Remember that the problem is not only in your waking effort. The problem may also be in how you use the night. Give your brain clear patterns during the day. Support your brain with calm, rhythmic audio and binaural frequencies at night. Protect your deep sleep and your REM cycles. Do these things consistently. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself on the slow days, and one day you may notice the same quiet change I noticed. Words stay longer, patterns feel easier, listening and speaking require less force. The rushing pressure of constant forgetting becomes a calmer stream of steady growth. Understanding and recalling become more natural, and you will finally feel freer to enjoy English without so much stress or fear of losing what you learned. This is my story. This is what I learned from the old researcher who studied sleep and the brain. I hope it helps you on your journey. Remember, your brain is powerful both day and night. Trust it. Train it during the day, support it during the night with slow stories and binaural frequencies, and it will take you further than effort alone can go. The secret was always inside the natural design of your brain. You just needed to know how to work with both the light and the dark.
The role of the hippocampus. I want to tell you more about one of the most important parts of this story. It is about a special area of the brain called the hippocampus. Many people have never heard this word, but once you understand what the hippocampus does while you rest, you will see language learning in a completely new way. Let me explain it slowly and clearly. When I first met the old researcher, she asked me a simple question. She said, "Do you know where new words go when you first learn them?" I thought for a moment. I said, "They go into my memory." She smiled and said, "Yes, but not into permanent memory yet. First, they go into a temporary place. That temporary place is the hippocampus." She explained it like this. The hippocampus is like a small, careful notebook that the brain carries during the day. Every time you hear a new English word or a new phrase, the hippocampus writes it down quickly. It holds the sound, it holds the meaning, it holds the feeling of the word. But this notebook is not very big. It is only for short-term use. If the notebook becomes too full, or if the brain does not have time to organize it, many of the new words are lost. This is why so many learners feel frustrated. They study hard during the day, they fill the hippocampus with new vocabulary, then they sleep poorly, or they sleep too little, or they fill the night with noise and stress. The next morning, the notebook is messy. Some words are still there. Many words have already faded. The learner thinks, "My memory is weak," but the real problem is that the temporary notebook was never given the chance to transfer its information into long-term storage. The old researcher told me what happens next when sleep is good. During the night, especially during deep sleep and during the REM cycle, the hippocampus begins a quiet and powerful process. It reviews everything it collected during the day. It looks at the new vocabulary. It decides which words and patterns are useful. Then it starts moving the important information out of the temporary notebook and into permanent storage in other parts of the brain. This process is called memory consolidation. She said it very clearly. The hippocampus converts short-term vocabulary into long-term fluency while you rest. This is not just a scientific sentence, this is the key. While your body is still and your eyes are closed, the hippocampus is working. It is strengthening the connections, it is repeating the patterns internally, it is making the new words more stable. You do not need to be awake for this work to happen.
In fact, the work happens best when you are deeply asleep. I asked her, "How long does this process take?" She answered, "It happens in stages across the night. In deep sleep, the brain moves factual information and vocabulary. In REM sleep, the brain connects the words to meaning, to emotion, and to other language patterns. Both stages are important. If you cut your sleep short, you cut the consolidation process short. That is why short sleep often leads to weak retention." She gave me a simple picture to remember. Imagine the hippocampus as a hard-working librarian. During the day, the librarian receives many new books, new words and phrases. The books are placed on a temporary table. At night, when the library is quiet, the librarian carefully takes each useful book and places it on the permanent shelves. If the night is noisy, or if the librarian is interrupted, many books stay on the temporary table and are lost by morning. Good sleep is the quiet night that allows the librarian to finish the work. This is why the method of sleeping for fluency is so powerful. When you give the hippocampus clear, rhythmic, meaningful language during the day, you fill the temporary notebook with good material. When you support the night with calm conditions and soft binaural frequencies, you help the hippocampus do its transfer work more smoothly. The binaural frequencies help the brain enter deeper and more stable sleep stages. In those stages, the conversion from short-term to long-term becomes more effective.
I began to watch this process in my own learning. On days when I studied a small group of phrases carefully and then slept well with the slow story and binaural audio, the next morning those phrases felt stronger. They were easier to recall. They felt closer to my natural speech. On days when I studied a lot but slept poorly, the phrases felt weaker the next day. The difference was clear. The hippocampus had been able to complete its work on the good nights and had been interrupted on the poor nights. The researcher told me one more important detail. The hippocampus does not only store single words, it also stores patterns and groups of words. When you listen to language in chunks and in natural rhythm during the day, the hippocampus receives better quality material. Then, at night, it can consolidate not just isolated words, but useful phrases and structures. This is how short-term vocabulary slowly becomes part of long-term fluency. Fluency is not only knowing many words. Fluency is having those words ready and connected so they can come out naturally. She said, if you want long-term fluency, you must respect the hippocampus. Give it clean material during the day, give it quiet, deep rest at night. Support the sleep stages with calm audio tools if possible. Then trust the process. The conversion from short-term to long-term does not happen by force. It happens by allowing the brain to do what it is designed to do while you rest. This understanding changed how I planned my learning. I stopped trying to push more and more words into the temporary notebook every day. Instead, I chose fewer phrases, learned them well, and then protected the night so the hippocampus could move them into permanent storage. Over time, the permanent storage grew richer. Words stayed longer. Patterns became more automatic. The feeling of fluency grew quietly but steadily.
So when we talk about sleeping for fluency, we are really talking about supporting the hippocampus. We are talking about helping this small but powerful part of the brain convert the short-term vocabulary you collect during the day into the long-term fluency you want for your future. The work happens while you rest. The results appear when you wake up and use the language again. Remember this simple truth. The hippocampus collects during the day. The hippocampus consolidates during the night. Good material plus good sleep equals stronger long-term memory. When you understand this, you stop fighting against forgetting. You start working with the natural design of your own brain. And that is one of the deepest secrets of lasting language progress. This is the role of the hippocampus. This is why rest is not wasted time. This is why protecting your sleep is one of the smartest things you can do for your English. Give the hippocampus what it needs, and it will quietly turn today's new words into tomorrow's lasting fluency.
Now I want to take you from the biology of learning into technical tools that can support it. We have already spoken about the hippocampus. We have spoken about how it collects new vocabulary during the day and how it converts that short-term material into longer-term fluency while you rest. We have spoken about deep sleep and the REM cycle. This is the biological foundation. But the old researcher did not stop at biology. She showed me how we can gently help this natural process with technical audio tools. Let me explain the transition slowly and clearly. After she finished explaining the hippocampus, she looked at me and said, "Understanding the biology is important, but knowledge alone is not enough. We can also support the biology with the right tools. The brain has natural stages of sleep. We cannot force those stages, but we can create conditions that make it easier for the brain to enter them and stay in them longer. This is where technical audio tools become useful." She began the transition with a simple idea. She said, "The brain is always listening, even when we are moving towards sleep. Soft sound can guide the brain. Harsh sound can disturb it. If we choose the right kind of sound, we can help the brain move more smoothly from the waking state into the calm states where memory consolidation happens. This is the bridge from pure biology to practical tools." The main technical tool she taught me is called binaural audio. She explained it step by step so I would not feel confused. When the left ear hears one soft frequency and the right ear hears a slightly different soft frequency, the brain itself creates a third gentle beat. This inner beat is called a binaural beat. It is not a sound that comes from outside, it is a sound the brain produces inside. Certain frequencies of these binaural beats can encourage the brain to slow down and enter deeper relaxation. She said, "We are not trying to control the brain like a machine, we are simply offering it a calm signal. When the brain receives this gentle rhythmic signal, it often becomes easier to leave the busy waking state and move toward the quieter states of light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. These are the same stages where the hippocampus can more effectively transfer the new vocabulary into longer-term storage." I asked her if any kind of music or sound would work. She shook her head gently. She said, "Not every sound is helpful. Loud music, exciting songs, or fast speech can keep the brain too alert. The technical tools must match the biology. The frequencies should be soft, the story should be slow and warm, the overall feeling should be safe and unhurried.
Only then do the audio tools truly support the natural memory processes instead of fighting against them. She described how the combination works. The slow story carries the linguistic material. The words and phrases enter the temporary notebook of the hippocampus during the evening listening. At the same time, the soft binaural frequencies help the nervous system relax. Breathing becomes slower, muscle tension reduces, the mind becomes quieter. In this calmer state, it becomes easier to fall asleep and to stay in the deeper stages of sleep for longer. And it is in those deeper stages that the hippocampus can more effectively transfer the new vocabulary into longer-term storage. I asked her if any kind of music or sound would work. She shook her head gently. She said, "Not every sound is helpful. Loud music, exciting songs, or fast speech can keep the brain too alert. The technical tools must match the biology. The frequencies should be soft, the story should be slow and warm, the overall feeling should be safe and unhurried. Only then do the audio tools truly support the natural memory processes instead of fighting against them."
She also explained that binaural audio is only one part of the technical support. The way the story is written and spoken is equally important. The narrative should be rhythmic. It should repeat key phrases in a natural way. It should feel like a calm river of language rather than a list of words. When the language itself is designed for the subconscious mind, and when it is supported by appropriate binaural frequencies, the transition from biology to technology becomes complete. We are no longer only hoping that sleep will help, we are actively creating better conditions for sleep to help. This understanding changed how I prepared my evenings. Before, I used to study until I was exhausted and then fall into bed with a busy mind. Now, I began to create a bridge between the day and the night. I would take the phrases I had learned, place them inside a slow and gentle story, and play that story with soft binaural frequencies underneath. As I listened, I could feel my body settling. The technical tool was helping my biology. The biology was then able to do its night work more effectively. The old researcher summarized the transition in one clear paragraph for me. She said, "First, understand the biology. The hippocampus collects during the day and consolidates during the night. Deep sleep and REM sleep are the stages where short-term vocabulary becomes more permanent. Then use technical audio tools to support those stages. Soft binaural frequencies help the brain enter and maintain the helpful states. A slow, rhythmic story carries the language patterns into the mind at the right time. Together, the biology and the technical tools work as partners. I want you to feel this transition clearly. We do not throw away the science of the brain. We do not ignore the natural processes of sleep. Instead, we respect the biology and then carefully add technical tools that make the biology work more smoothly. That is the intelligent way. That is the bridge from knowledge to practice. When you use binaural audio under a gentle language story, you are not doing something strange or artificial. You are simply giving your brain a calmer pathway into the same natural states it already needs for memory consolidation. You are helping the hippocampus receive good material and then helping the whole brain stay in the deep and REM stages long enough to finish the conversion from short-term vocabulary into longer-term fluency. This is the transition from the living biology of the hippocampus and sleep cycles to the careful technical tools of binaural frequencies and slow narrative audio. Both are necessary. Biology shows us the destination.
technical tools help us walk the path more gently and more effectively. Once I understood this bridge, my whole approach to language learning became more complete. I no longer separated study and sleep. I began to see them as two parts of one system. The day feeds the hippocampus. The night, supported by the right audio tools, allows the hippocampus to complete its work. And over time, short-term words quietly become part of lasting fluency. This is what the old researcher wanted me to learn. Respect the biology, then use intelligent technical tools to support it. When both are working together, the process of sleeping for fluency becomes natural, gentle, and powerful.
Scientific validation of your gentle approach. Now, I want to speak about something very important. It is about the scientific validation of this gentle approach. Many people hear about sleep learning and think it sounds soft or even magical. They wonder if it is real. They wonder if it has any true scientific foundation. The old researcher answered this question with great care. She showed me that the gentle method is not only pleasant, it is also deeply supported by what we know about the brain. Let me explain it slowly. She began by introducing a powerful word, neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means the brain's natural ability to change, to grow new connections, and to reorganize itself through experience. The brain is not fixed like a stone, it is living and flexible. Every time we learn something new, the brain makes small physical changes. Connections between brain cells become stronger, new pathways form. This is neuroplasticity. It is one of the greatest secrets of how learning really happens. The researcher said, when you understand neuroplasticity, you stop seeing language learning as only hard effort. You begin to see it as a process of gently shaping the brain over time. And here is the important part. Neuroplasticity does not only happen when you are awake and struggling, it also happens during rest. In fact, some of the most important strengthening of new connections happens while you sleep. This is the scientific validation of the gentle approach. Traditional study often focuses only on active effort. Repeat more, study longer, push harder. But science shows us that the brain also needs recovery time to make the new learning permanent. When we give the brain clear language patterns during the day and then support deep, calm rest at night, we are working with neuroplasticity instead of against it. We are allowing the brain to build stronger pathways for English. She explained it further. During the day, when you listen to useful phrases and understand them, you are creating the first small sparks of new connections. These connections are still weak. They can disappear easily. At night, during deep sleep and REM sleep, the brain replays and strengthens those connections. This is part of neuroplasticity. The gentle sleep learning method supports exactly this process. The slow story gives the brain clean material. The soft binaural frequencies help the brain enter and stay in the stages where strengthening happens more effectively. This is why the approach elevates ordinary passive listening into something much more valuable. Ordinary passive listening is just hearing sounds. But when you combine clear linguistic patterns with the right sleep conditions and supportive audio tools, the experience becomes a strategic recovery session. You are no longer only resting, you are giving your brain the exact environment it needs to turn temporary learning into more permanent change. You are using neuroplasticity in an intelligent way.
The old researcher looked at me and said, "Many learners treat sleep as empty time. They think real progress only happens when they feel tired from study. But science tells us something different. Recovery is not the opposite of learning. Recovery is part of learning. When you protect your sleep and support it with gentle, meaningful language audio, you are turning rest into a high-value session for the brain." She gave me a clear picture. Imagine the brain as a growing tree. During the day, you water the tree with new words and phrases. That is important, but the real growth of the roots happens quietly at night. If you keep shaking the tree or shining bright lights on it all night, the roots stay weak. If you give the tree darkness, stillness, and the right quiet conditions, the roots grow deeper. Neuroplasticity is like the natural growth of those roots. The gentle sleep learning method simply creates better conditions for that growth. This scientific understanding changed how I valued my evenings. Before, I felt guilty if I stopped studying early. Now I understood that stopping at the right time and preparing for quality sleep was not laziness, it was strategy. It was working with the brain's natural ability to change. The slow story and the binaural frequencies were not entertainment, they were tools that supported neuroplasticity during the most important recovery hours of the day. The researcher emphasized one more point. She said, "The gentle approach is powerful exactly because it is gentle. The brain does not build strong new pathways under constant stress and force. It builds them best when there is a balance between focused input and deep recovery. By making the night listening calm, rhythmic, and safe, we reduce resistance in the nervous system. A calm nervous system allows neuroplasticity to work more freely. This is why the method feels soft, but produces real results over time." So, when we speak about scientific validation, we are speaking about this. Neuroplasticity proves that the brain can change. Sleep research proves that much of the strengthening of new learning happens during rest. The combination of clear language patterns and supportive binaural audio gives the brain better material and better conditions for that change. Therefore, the gentle sleep learning approach is not only pleasant, it is a strategic recovery session that works with the real science of how the brain grows. I want you to feel the value of this. You are not simply listening to a nice story at night. You are participating in a process that science recognizes. You are giving your hippocampus good material. You are supporting the sleep stages where consolidation happens. You are using neuroplasticity instead of fighting against the brain's natural rhythms. This is what elevates the experience from passive listening to high-value strategic recovery.
The old researcher finished this part of our conversation with quiet confidence. She said, "The most effective methods are often the ones that look gentle on the surface, but are deeply intelligent underneath." When you understand neuroplasticity, you stop forcing the brain and start cooperating with it. That cooperation is the real secret. This is the scientific validation of the gentle approach. It rests on the living truth of neuroplasticity. It respects the brain's need for recovery. It transforms ordinary rest into a purposeful session that helps short-term vocabulary become longer-term fluency. And it does all of this without stress, without force, and without fighting against the natural design of the mind. When you lie down tonight with a slow story and soft binaural frequencies, remember this. You are not being passive, You are being strategic. You are giving your brain the conditions it needs to change and grow. That is the quiet power of this method. That is the science behind the gentleness. Strategic optimization of subconscious learning. Now, I want to take you one step deeper. We have spoken about the hippocampus. We have spoken about sleep stages and memory consolidation. We have spoken about neuroplasticity and the scientific validation of the gentle approach. But there is still another level. It is the level of strategic optimization. It is the level where we stop using only simple stories and begin to use the method with greater precision and greater intelligence. Let me explain this slowly and carefully. The old researcher looked at me one afternoon and said, "You have understood the foundation. Now it is time to optimize. Symbol stories are good at the beginning. They create safety. They create calm. They introduce the brain to the idea of learning during rest. But if you stay only with simple stories forever, you limit the power of the method. Real progress comes when we move from general stories to targeted language material." She continued, "One of the most useful targets is phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are everywhere in real English. They are the small combinations that native speakers use constantly. Pick up, get over, look after, run into, break down, carry on, and hundreds more. These expressions are difficult for many learners because they cannot be translated word for word. They must be absorbed as complete units of meaning. The sleeping brain is very good at absorbing complete units when the conditions are right." This was the beginning of strategic optimization. Instead of giving the brain only general, easy stories, we begin to design the night audio with clear intention. We choose specific phrasal verbs that the learner needs. We place those phrasal verbs inside a slow, rhythmic, natural narrative. We repeat them gently in different sentences so the brain can feel their meaning and their rhythm. Then we support the whole experience with carefully chosen binaural frequencies. This combination turns ordinary sleep listening into a sophisticated upgrade for the English system inside the mind. The researcher called this upgrade the English machine. She smiled when she used the words. She said, "Your brain already has an English machine. It is the network of sounds, words, patterns, and meanings that allows you to understand and speak. At the beginning, the machine is small and slow. With ordinary study, it grows step by step. But when we combine targeted language material with nervous system regulation during sleep, we give the machine a higher quality of practice. We optimize the subconscious learning process." She explained why this is strategic. Simple stories help the nervous system feel safe. That is the first stage. Once safety is established, we can introduce more precise material. Targeted phrasal verbs give the brain high-value patterns. These patterns appear again and again in real life. When the sleeping brain consolidates them, the learner begins to recognize and use them more naturally during the day. The progress feels quieter than hard study, but it is deeper. At the same time, the binaural beats continue their important work. They help regulate the nervous system. A regulated nervous system is calm enough to enter deep sleep and REM sleep more easily. It is also calm enough to allow neuroplasticity to work without resistance. When the nervous system is tense, the brain stays in a protective mode. Learning becomes harder.
When the nervous system is regulated, the brain becomes more open to change. This is why the combination is powerful. We are not only giving the brain good language, we are also giving the brain a calm internal environment in which to absorb that language. I began to apply this strategic level in my own practice. First, I continued with simple, gentle stories to keep the feeling of safety. Then I slowly introduced targeted groups of phrasal verbs. For example, I chose a small family of related expressions: get up, get over, get along, get through. I placed them inside a slow evening story that felt natural and warm. The story repeated the expressions in different situations so the brain could feel their different meanings. Underneath the story, I kept the soft binaural frequencies that supported deep rest. After several nights with this focused material, I noticed something interesting. During the day, when I heard or read those same phrasal verbs, they felt more familiar. They required less translation. They came to my mind more quickly when I wanted to speak. The English machine inside my mind had received a small but precise upgrade. The subconscious had done part of the work while I slept. The old researcher emphasized that this process must stay gentle. She said, optimization does not mean pressure. Optimization means intelligent design. We choose better material, we support the nervous system, we protect the sleep stages, we trust the slow work of consolidation. If we become impatient and push too much material too quickly, the nervous system becomes tense again, and the advantage disappears. This is the heart of strategic optimization of subconscious learning. We move from simple stories to targeted phrasal verbs. We continue to use binaural beats for nervous system regulation. We treat the night not as empty time, but as a high-value session for the English machine. We respect the biology of the hippocampus and neuroplasticity. We add technical tools with care and precision. The result is a sophisticated yet gentle upgrade that works with the brain instead of against it. She gave me a clear sequence to follow. Stage 1, establish safety with simple, warm stories and soft binaural frequencies. Stage 2, begin introducing small groups of high-value language, especially phrasal verbs and natural expressions. Stage 3, keep the nervous system regulated so that deep sleep and REM sleep can do their consolidation work. Stage 4, review lightly during the day and notice what feels easier. Stage 5, continue the cycle with patience, always protecting the quality of rest. When these stages are followed consistently, the subconscious learning process becomes optimized. The brain receives better material. The nervous system stays calm enough to absorb it. The hippocampus is able to convert more of the short-term input into longer-term fluency. Neuroplasticity is supported rather than blocked by stress. Over time, the English machine becomes faster, smoother, and more reliable. When you lie down tonight, you can begin to apply this level. Choose a small group of useful phrasal verbs. Place them inside a slow and natural story. Support the experience with soft binaural frequencies. Allow your nervous system to settle. Allow the hippocampus to work. Allow neuroplasticity to strengthen the new patterns. And trust that the English machine inside you is receiving a quiet but valuable upgrade while you rest. This is the strategic path. This is how subconscious learning becomes not only gentle but truly optimized. Fresh narrative perspective on productivity. I want to speak to you today in a slightly different way. In my earlier stories, I often walked beside you as a fellow learner. I shared my struggles. I shared the moments when everything felt difficult. That style has value. It creates connection. But today, I want to step into a different role. Today, I want to speak as a strategic mentor. I want to explain the how behind the sleep learning method with clarity and depth, while still keeping the same calm, immersive feeling you already know. This is not only a story about rest, this is a story about intelligent productivity. Most people think of productivity as more activity, more hours, more lists, more effort. They believe that if they stay busy enough, results will come. But real productivity is not measured by how tired you feel at the end of the day. Real productivity is measured by how much meaningful progress remains after time has passed. In language learning, this means how much English stays with you, becomes usable, and feels natural weeks and months later. The sleep learning method is one of the most powerful ways I know to increase that kind of lasting productivity. Let me explain the how from the beginning, step by step, without rushing. First, understand the basic limitation of ordinary study. When you study during the day, you place new words and phrases into short-term memory. This is necessary, but short-term memory is fragile. Without the right kind of recovery, much of what you put in during the day leaks away during the night. You work hard, yet the net result remains small. This is why so many learners feel they are running in place. They are productive in the sense of being busy, but they are not productive in the sense of building permanent ability. The sleep learning method changes this equation. It does not ask you to study more hours. It asks you to study with better timing and better recovery. During the day, you still learn actively. You choose useful language. You understand it. You use it in simple ways. But you stop before exhaustion. Then you prepare the night audio as a second stage of work, a stage that happens while you rest. This second stage is where much of the real consolidation occurs. By supporting that stage, you increase the percentage of daytime learning that becomes long-term ability. That is strategic productivity. Here is the practical how in clear sequence. Step 1. Select high-value material during the day. Do not try to learn everything. Choose a small number of phrasal verbs, natural expressions, or useful sentence patterns. Learn them with full attention. Understand the meaning. Feel the rhythm. Use them in a few of your own sentences. This focused input is more productive than large quantities of half-understood material. Step 2. Stop at the right time. Leave some energy in the nervous system. A calm nervous system learns better and recovers better. If you push until you are completely drained, the night work becomes less effective. Strategic learners know when to close the books. Step 3. Prepare the night audio with intention. Take the same material you studied and place it inside a slow, warm, rhythmic story. The story should feel natural, not like a list. Repeat the target expressions gently in different contexts so the brain can absorb them as living language. Underneath the story, layer soft binaural frequencies chosen to support relaxation and deeper sleep stages. This combination gives the brain two things at once: clean linguistic patterns and a calmer internal state. Create the right external conditions. Make the room dark, reduce noise, keep the phone away. Lie down with comfortable headphones or a safe sleep speaker. Begin the audio as you settle. Do not force attention. Allow the body and mind to drift towards sleep while the gentle language continues. The goal is not to stay awake and study. The goal is to fall asleep with high-quality material present and with the nervous system regulated. This is how subconscious learning becomes not only gentle but truly optimized.
Many learners make the same mistake. They treat productivity as a daytime-only activity. They fill every free hour with study and treat sleep as lost time. The result is a tired nervous system, weaker consolidation, and slower long-term progress. The strategic mentor view is different. It says, the day is for focused input, the night is for intelligent recovery and consolidation. When both parts are optimized, total productivity rises, even if the number of active study hours stays the same or even decreases. Let me speak directly to the feeling of this approach. When you use the method correctly, the evenings begin to feel different. Instead of guilt for stopping study, you feel clarity. You know you have given the brain good material. You know you have prepared the conditions for the hippocampus to work. You know the binaural support is helping the nervous system settle. You lie down with a sense of quiet intention rather than exhaustion or anxiety. That shift in feeling is itself a form of productivity. A regulated nervous system learns faster and recovers more completely. Over time, the results appear in practical ways. Phrasal verbs and natural expressions begin to feel more automatic. You spend less energy translating in your head. You recall language with less effort during conversations. You need fewer intense review sessions because more of the material has already been strengthened during sleep. This is the compounding effect of strategic recovery. Small nightly advantages accumulate into noticeable fluency gains. I want to be very clear about what this method is not. It is not a magic replacement for all daytime practice. It is not a way to learn complex grammar without any conscious effort. It is not an excuse to avoid speaking or active use of the language. It is a powerful optimization layer that sits on top of sensible daytime learning. When the foundation of active practice is present, the sleep layer multiplies the results. When the foundation is missing, the sleep layer has less to consolidate. The fresh narrative perspective I am offering you today is this: you are not only a student of English, you are the designer of your own learning system. You decide what material enters the system. You decide the quality of the recovery environment. You decide whether the nervous system is supported or neglected. When you accept this role of strategic mentor to yourself, productivity stops being a matter of willpower alone. It becomes a matter of intelligent design. Design the day for clean, focused input. Design the evening for calm transition. Design the night for deep consolidation. Design the next morning for light review and renewed focus. This cycle, repeated with patience, produces more lasting progress than chaotic bursts of intense study followed by collapse. The old researcher once said to me, "The most productive people I have observed are not the ones who never rest, they are the ones who rest with purpose. They understand that recovery is not the opposite of work. Recovery is what allows work to become permanent." That sentence stayed with me. It applies perfectly to language learning. Sleep, supported by targeted language audio and nervous system regulation, is purposeful recovery. It is productivity in its quieter, deeper form.
If you adopt this perspective, your relationship with time will change. You will stop measuring your worth by how many hours you forced yourself to study. You will begin measuring progress by how much English remains usable after days and weeks have passed. You will protect your sleep not as a luxury, but as a core part of the learning strategy. You will choose material more carefully because you know it will be processed again during the night. You will treat binaural frequencies and slow narrative audio as professional tools rather than background entertainment. This is the fresh narrative perspective on productivity. It keeps the immersive, calm style you already know. At the same time, it positions you as the strategic mentor of your own brain. It explains the how without losing the feeling of safety and gentleness. It turns the sleep learning method from a pleasant habit into a deliberate system for long-term fluency gains. You now understand the sequence. You understand why the night matters. You understand how targeted phrasal verbs, rhythmic storytelling, and binaural support work together. You understand that nervous system regulation is not separate from language learning. It is one of the foundations that makes lasting learning possible. Begin where you are. Tonight, choose a small group of useful expressions. Place them inside a slow story or use a prepared audio that already contains them. Add the soft binaural layer. Prepare a dark, quiet room. Lie down with the intention of allowing both rest and consolidation. Tomorrow, notice what feels even slightly easier. Then repeat. Small, strategic cycles repeated consistently create large results. That is real productivity. That is the method. That is the perspective I want to leave with you. You do not need to become louder or harder on yourself. You need to become more intelligent about how the whole system works: the waking mind, the sleeping mind, the nervous system, and the natural processes of memory and change. When you operate from that understanding, every night becomes an opportunity. Every period of rest becomes part of the work, and fluency stops healing like something you must chase through exhaustion. It begins to feel like something you are quietly building, day and night, with patience and precision. This is the strategic mentor view. This is the deeper how. This is how we turn the gentle sleep learning method into a powerful engine of lasting productivity. Take it slowly, apply it consistently. Trust the compounding effect of intelligent recovery. Your English will thank you in the weeks and months ahead.
How binaural audio rewires your brain for vocabulary retention. Lie back now. Let your head sink into the pillow. Let your hands rest, heavy and still at your sides. Tonight, before you drift away completely, I want to tell you a story. It is the story of a man named Daniel and the quiet, almost accidental discovery he made about his own mind. You do not need to concentrate on anything I say. You do not need to remember it on purpose. Just let the words move through you softly, like warm water moving over smooth stones. Let your breathing slow. Let your jaw loosen. Let your thoughts grow wide and slow and far apart. Daniel was a translator. For 15 years, he had worked with words for a living, and yet learning new words for himself had always felt like carrying stones uphill. He would sit at his desk late into the evening, repeating vocabulary lists until his eyes burned, and still by morning half of it had slipped away like water through open fingers. He began to wonder if his brain was simply too tired, too old, too worn down by years of forcing information into it. Then, one winter, he met a scientist named Dr. Ansel,
a quiet man who studied the sleeping brain in a small laboratory outside the city. Dr. Ansel listened patiently as Daniel described his frustration. Then he said something that Daniel never forgot. "You have been trying to teach your brain during its busiest hours," Dr. Ansel said, "when it is least willing to listen. But there is another time, a quieter time, when the brain becomes remarkably open. It happens after the lights go out, after the body grows still, deep inside the architecture of sleep." Daniel frowned. "You mean I can learn while I'm unconscious?" he asked. Dr. Ansel smiled, the way people smile when they are about to explain something they love deeply. "Not exactly unconscious," he said. "Sleep is not empty. Sleep is layered, like the floors of a tall building. As you descend into deeper stages, your brainwaves slow down. They move from the fast, chaotic rhythm of waking thought into long, steady, rolling waves. Scientists call this process brainwave synchronization. It is the moment when scattered electrical activity settles into a single, unified rhythm, almost like a crowd of separate voices slowly falling into the same calm heartbeat. Daniel had never thought of his own mind as having rhythm before. He always imagined thinking as something sharp, effortful, deliberate. Dr. Ansel continued, "During certain sleep stages, the brain replays the events of the day. It is called memory consolidation. Fragile, freshly learned information gets strengthened, transferred from short-term storage into long-term storage, almost like moving fragile boxes from a temporary shelf into a permanent, reinforced vault. This happens naturally every single night, whether you try to help it or not." Daniel asked the obvious question, "So if this already happens naturally, why does my vocabulary still disappear by morning?" Dr. Ansel nodded, as if he had expected this exact question many times before. "Because," he said gently, "your brain can only consolidate what it received calmly. When you force information in through stress, through repetition, through anxious late-night cramming, your brain stores it as an unpleasant task, tangled together with tension and fatigue. But when information arrives gently, wrapped in a slow, unhurried story, without pressure, without testing, the brain treats it completely differently. It becomes part of an experience, not a chore, and experiences consolidate far more efficiently during deep sleep than isolated facts ever do." Daniel sat with this idea quietly, turning it over in his mind. Dr. Ansel then explained something that fascinated Daniel even more, something about sound itself. There is a subtle audio technique called binaural layering. If one tone plays softly in the left ear and a slightly different tone plays softly in the right ear, the brain perceives a third phantom rhythm, a pulse that exists only inside your own head, blending both signals together. Many researchers have explored whether these gentle pulses, played quietly beneath a calm voice, may encourage the brain to settle more easily into the slow, steady rhythm associated with deep, restorative sleep. Daniel found this almost impossible to imagine, an invisible rhythm created entirely inside his own skull.
"Think of it like this," Dr. Ansel said. "Imagine two people humming slightly different notes on opposite sides of a quiet room. You would not simply hear two separate hums. Your brain would blend them together, creating a slow, pulsing wave that neither person is actually making on their own. That third wave, created only within your own perception, can gently guide your brainwaves toward calmer, slower patterns,
encouraging the body to relax more completely into deep, restorative stages of rest. Daniel began to understand why this discovery had taken him by surprise. It was not magic, it was simply the architecture of perception itself. That night, Dr. Ansel invited Daniel to try something simple. Before sleep, he would listen to a calm, slow story, spoken gently, layered quietly beneath these soft binaural tones, containing a handful of new and elegant words woven naturally into sentences about gardens, mountains, and rivers at dusk. He was told not to test himself, not to repeat anything aloud, not to strain toward memorization. Simply listen, the way one listens to gentle wind moving through open windows, present but undemanding, effortless and unhurried. That first night, Daniel lay in the darkness, and a slow, steady voice began describing a mountain village at twilight, using words like serene and resilient and eloquent, weaving them naturally into descriptions of quiet streets and softly glowing windows. He did not try to grasp each word immediately. He simply let the sentences flow past him, trusting that meaning would settle in on its own, the way understanding often arrives sideways, through feeling rather than through force. Somewhere in the middle of the story, his thoughts loosened, drifted, and dissolved gently into sleep before the story had even finished. In the morning, something curious happened. Daniel opened a newspaper, and the word resilient appeared in the very first paragraph. He did not need to search for its meaning. It was simply there already, sitting quietly in his mind, like a tool left exactly where he had left it the night before. He mentioned this to Dr. Ansel later that week, slightly amazed. Dr. Ansel nodded, unsurprised. "This is not a trick," he said carefully. "It is simply a different route into memory, one that avoids the exhausting friction of forced repetition." Over the following weeks, Daniel continued the practice. Each evening, a new, calm story, layered beneath quiet, steady tones, introducing new vocabulary through gentle narrative rather than isolated lists. He began to notice that these words stayed with him longer, arriving naturally in conversations, appearing effortlessly when he needed them, rather than sitting stiffly in some forgotten mental drawer. Dr. Ansel explained the deeper reason one evening, his voice as calm and steady as the recordings themselves. "Language," he said, "is not simply information. Language is texture. It carries rhythm, emotion, and imagery. When a word is learned only as a flat definition, it remains lifeless, easy to lose. But when a word is learned inside a story, surrounded by feeling and sound, it becomes three-dimensional. It gains weight. It gains a place to live." Daniel thought of the word serene and how he now pictured, without effort, the quiet mountain street from the story, softly glowing windows against a darkening sky. That image made the word almost impossible to forget, anchored permanently to something real, something felt, rather than simply memorized. As the weeks passed, Daniel noticed something else changing as well. He was falling asleep more quickly and waking feeling steadier, calmer, less scattered than before. The stories were never rushed, they were deliberately slow, designed not to excite the mind, but to lower it gently, guiding his thoughts from the sharp, busy edges of the day into smooth, rounded, unhurried rest. The vocabulary arrived almost as a quiet companion to this deeper relaxation, rather than as the primary goal itself. Learning had stopped feeling like labor. It had become something closer to comfort, something closer to rest.
Dr. Ansell offered one final thought before their conversation closed that evening. "There is a difference," he said, "between forcing knowledge into the mind and inviting it in gently. Forcing creates resistance, tension, and friction. Invitation creates openness. When new words arrive through a slow, calm story, layered beneath steady sound, without demanding instant recall, the brain's doors open more willingly, and what enters through an open door tends to remain far longer than what is pushed through a locked one." Daniel carried this idea with him for years afterward, long after their conversations had ended. He began creating his own quiet stories before bed, weaving new vocabulary from his translation work into gentle narratives about villages, rivers, and quiet evening walks beneath slow-moving clouds. He stopped believing his memory was weak or worn down by age. He understood, finally, that his memory had simply needed a gentler invitation, a slower, steadier approach, rather than constant pressure and urgency layered on top of already exhausted hours. And now, tonight, this same gentle invitation is being extended to you. As you continue to rest here in the darkness, let your thoughts loosen further. Let each sentence settle without effort, without testing, without any need to hold tightly onto anything at all. The words arriving in this story are simply quiet guests, stepping softly into the wide, calm rooms of your mind, taking their place among your memories the way gentle light settles slowly across still water at the end of a long day. There is nothing you need to do right now. There is nothing you need to check tomorrow morning. Simply allow the story to continue on its own. Allow your breathing to slow further. Allow your body to grow heavier against the bed beneath you. Allow the edges of your thoughts to blur softly into one another, the way distant lights blur gently when your eyes finally grow too tired to stay open. Somewhere between waking and sleeping, there exists a quiet threshold, a soft doorway where the busy, conscious mind loosens its grip and a deeper, steadier layer of awareness begins its own slow, patient work. It is in this space that language settles most naturally, not through strain, but through experience, not through memorization, but through memory quietly forming on its own, the way frost gathers slowly across a window overnight, unnoticed, unforced, simply allowed. Let yourself sink further into that space now. Let the story of Daniel and the quiet mountain village and the steady, patient voice of Dr. Ansell settle gently into the still water of your own mind. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to remember on purpose. There is only rest, only slow breath, only the soft, continuing hum of calm words moving gently through the darkness, sinking evenly, steadily, all the way down. Sleep now. Let the story continue quietly on its own, far beneath your awareness, in that patient inner workshop where the mind sorts, strengthens, and gently keeps what matters most. Tomorrow, some of these words may simply be waiting for you, quiet and familiar, like tools left exactly where you set them down the night before. Rest well, sleep deeply, and let the still water hold everything it has been softly given. Memory consolidation and language acquisition. Settle now into the softness beneath you. Let your eyes close, gently, without effort. Tonight, I want to tell you a story. It is the story of a woman named Marisol, a schoolteacher who believed for many years that her memory was simply not built for languages. You do not need to hold on to anything I say. You do not need to try. Just let the words settle over you slowly, like a warm blanket being drawn gently across a quiet room. Let your breathing lengthen. Let your muscles loosen, one by one. Let your thoughts begin to spread apart, wide and slow and far. Marisol had tried everything. Flashcards stacked on her nightstand, apps that pinged her phone with reminders, notebooks filled with vocabulary, written and rewritten until the pages grew soft at the edges. And still, each morning, so much of it had quietly vanished overnight, as though her mind had simply closed its hand and let the words fall through. She began to believe she had reached some kind of limit, some ceiling that other people, luckier people, did not seem to have. Then, during a long summer, she met a sleep researcher named Professor Iwasaki, a calm, unhurried man who spent his days studying what happens inside the brain after the lights go out. Marisol told him everything: the exhaustion, the repetition, the words that arrived and left like guests who never truly settled in. Professor Iwasaki listened without interrupting, and when she finished, he said something she did not expect. "You have been asking your mind to do all of its work while awake, when awareness is loud and crowded and easily distracted. But there is another window, quieter and far more receptive, that opens later, once the body has gone still and the mind has begun its descent into sleep." Marisol tilted her head. "You're saying sleep can teach me something?" Professor Iwasaki smiled patiently. "Sleep does not simply switch the mind off," he explained. "It moves through distinct stages, each with its own particular rhythm. As you fall deeper, your brainwaves slow from the fast, fragmented pattern of waking thought into long, rolling waves, steady and unified. This is sometimes called neural synchronization, a state in which scattered regions of the brain begin to fire together in rhythm, almost like a large orchestra finally settling into the same tempo after a chaotic warm-up. Marisol had never imagined her thoughts as something with rhythm before. She had always pictured her mind as something effortful, something that had to be pushed and pulled into place. Professor Iwasaki continued gently. "During certain stages of this deep, slow wave sleep, something remarkable takes place. The brain reactivates patterns from earlier in the day, replaying them quietly without your awareness. This is called memory consolidation. It is the process by which short-term, fragile memories are gradually transferred into long-term storage, strengthened, stabilized, made permanent. It happens every night in every sleeping brain, whether we help it along or not." Marisol asked the obvious question: "Then why doesn't it work for my vocabulary? Why does it still disappear?" Professor Iwasaki nodded slowly, as though he had heard this question many times before from many tired students. Because, he said, consolidation strengthens what is stored calmly. Information absorbed through anxiety, through rushed repetition, through late-night cramming under pressure, becomes tangled together with stress and fatigue. It is harder for the brain to sort, harder to strengthen cleanly. But information that arrives gently, wrapped inside a slow and calm narrative, spoken gently, containing a small number of new and elegant words, folded naturally into sentences describing quiet places, evening light, and slow-moving rivers. She was told not to test herself, not to repeat anything aloud, not to reach for the words with effort. Simply listen, the way one listens to rainfall outside a window at night, present but undemanding, requiring nothing at all. That first evening, Marisol lay in the darkness, and a slow, steady voice began describing an old library at dusk, using words like meticulous and profound and unwavering, weaving them gently into descriptions of dust-lit shelves and quiet footsteps on wooden floors. She did not strain to catch each word. She let the sentences move past her, trusting the meaning to settle in naturally. The threshold of the moonlit woods. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold it gently for 1 second and release it slowly through your mouth, like a door opening without a sound. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your jaw soften. Feel the weight of the day sliding off you like rain off a leaf. Right now, all around you, imagine a 3-dimensional soundscape rising softly into being, not flat, not distant, but surrounding you. Somewhere to your left, a branch creaks quietly. Somewhere to your right, the wind moves through tall grass with a sound like a slow exhale. Above you, leaves whisper against each other, layer over layer, 1,000 small voices speaking a language older than words. This sound is not random. It is designed gently, scientifically, to speak directly to a very old part of your brain, the part that has always known how to rest when it hears a forest breathe. When your ears receive this kind of layered, natural sound, your nervous system begins to shift, your heart rate slows, your muscles loosen. A hormone called cortisol, the chemical of stress and alertness, begins to quietly fall. And here is the beautiful secret, my friend. When cortisol falls, a window opens, a soft, wide window in your mind through which language can enter without effort, without struggle, without the tightness of trying. This is the cognitive window for effortless acquisition. It is not something you force open. It opens on its own, the way a flower opens when the sun is gentle enough. So tonight, you do not need to study, you do not need to memorize, you do not even need to try to understand every word. Your only task, your only beautiful task, is to rest here at the threshold of the woods and let your subconscious mind quietly observe. Observe the rhythm. Observe the rise and fall of each sentence, the way English moves up like a hill and down like a valley. There is no pressure to translate.
There is no pressure to repeat unless you want to, softly, like a whisper following mine. Just let the patterns pass through you the way moonlight passes through leaves, touching everything, holding nothing too tightly. Whisper this quietly in your mind if you like. I am safe here. I am open. I am learning without effort. Now take one more breath, and as you exhale, imagine stepping forward past the last house light of the village, past the low wooden fence, onto a path of soft, dark earth. The threshold of the moonlit woods is just ahead of you. You are ready. Let's step inside together. Entering the woodland. The path beneath your feet is cool and soft, covered in a thin layer of fallen leaves that do not crunch, only sigh as you walk. Tall trees rise on either side of you, their trunks silver grey in the moonlight, their branches reaching up like slow, patient hands. The forest is quiet tonight. Let's say that gently. The forest is quiet tonight. Above you, the moon hangs full and low, spilling soft white light between the leaves, scattering it across the ground like coins of silver. You notice how the light does not fall in one solid sheet, but in small, moving patches, shifting gently as the highest branches sway. The moonlight scatters through the leaves. Once more, slowly, the moonlight scatters through the leaves. You hear somewhere far ahead the low, round call of an owl, not sharp, not startling, soft, hollow, patient, like a question asked into the dark and answered only by silence. An owl calls softly in the distance. Let's repeat that together. An owl calls softly in the distance. As you walk deeper, the air grows cooler against your skin, carrying the smell of damp earth, of pine, of something green and quietly alive. You breathe it in slowly, and it settles your chest like a hand placed gently over your heart. The air smells of pine and damp earth. Again, softly, the air smells of pine and damp earth. You are not afraid here. This forest does not hold danger tonight, only stillness, only rhythm, only the long, slow breathing of something ancient and kind.
The clearing of rustling leaves. After some time, you cannot say exactly how long, for time moves differently here. The trees begin to part, and you step into a small, round clearing. The grass here is soft and silvered with dew. In the center stands a single wide old tree, its roots curling above the ground like the arms of a chair. You sit down against it, and the moment you do, your whole body seems to exhale. Above you, a gentle wind moves through the canopy, and thousands of leaves murmur at once, a soft, continuous whisper that rises and falls like breathing. The leaves whisper in the gentle wind. Let's say that slowly. The leaves whisper in the gentle wind. You notice small glimmering fireflies drifting between the branches, their light blinking on and off like slow, silent thoughts. Fireflies drift quietly between the branches. Once more, softly, fireflies drift quietly between the branches.
Somewhere close by, a small stream moves over smooth stones, its sound low and constant, like a lullaby with no beginning and no end. A stream moves gently over smooth stones. Again, a stream moves gently over smooth stones. Here, in this clearing, your mind does not need to hold on to anything. Thoughts may drift through like the fireflies, appearing, glowing softly, and disappearing again, without effort, without judgment. If a worry from your day tries to enter, simply notice it the way you would notice a leaf falling, and let it settle quietly onto the forest floor behind you. You do not need to pick it up tonight. I let my thoughts fall softly like leaves. Whisper that gently to yourself. I let my thoughts fall softly like leaves. The language of the woods. As you rest here, half dreaming, half listening, you begin to notice something remarkable. The forest itself seems to be speaking in slow, patient English, its sentences shaped by wind and water and wing. Let these phrases settle into you gently, the way dew settles onto grass. There is no need to hold them tightly. Simply listen, and if you wish, repeat softly after me. The night is calm and still. Once more, the night is calm and still. I feel safe beneath these old trees. Again, gently. I feel safe beneath these old trees. My mind is quiet and open. Softly, one more time. My mind is quiet and open. I am learning without trying. Whisper it. I am learning without trying. The forest holds me gently tonight. One last time, slowly. The forest holds me gently tonight. Notice how these words do not feel like lessons. They feel like breathing. This is the quiet magic of learning while the body rests. New patterns settling into your mind, the way soft moss settles over old stone, slowly, naturally, without force. Whispers of the ancient canopy. Let your breathing settle even further now. In slowly and out even more slowly. Good. Above you, the canopy stretches wide and endless, a ceiling of ancient branches woven together by centuries of patient growing. The trees here are old, older than the village, older than the road that brought you here, older perhaps than memory itself. Their bark is rough and silvered, wrapped in soft velvety moss that muffles every sound it touches. Look upward in your mind's quiet eye and notice the light. It does not fall in a single beam. It filters, softly, gently, delicately, through countless overlapping leaves of oak and pine, breaking into small shimmering fragments that drift and dance as the highest branches sway in a wind you cannot feel, only see. The silver light filters gently through the leaves. Let's say that slowly, letting each word stretch a little, the way the light itself stretches through the branches. The silver light filters gently through the leaves. Notice the word filters. It is a soft, careful word, is it not? It does not crash. It does not rush. It simply allows something to pass through, slowly, gently, a little at a time, much like the English you are absorbing tonight, filtering quietly into your mind without force. Gently. Filters. Gently,
Let the sound of that word rest in your mouth for a moment, even in a whisper. Filters. The oak trees here are broad and heavy-limbed, their leaves rounded and dark, holding the moonlight briefly before letting it slip through to the ground below. The pine trees beside them are tall and slender, their needles fine and silver-tipped, humming faintly whenever the breeze moves past. The oak trees are broad, the pine trees are slender. Notice these describing words: broad, slender, silver-tipped, velvety. These are called adjectives, my friend, small words that paint a picture, that add color and texture to a plain sentence. You do not need to remember their name, you only need to let their shape enter your mind, the way a color enters a room when a curtain is drawn back. The moss is soft, the bark is rough. Let's whisper that together, slowly. The moss is soft, the bark is rough. Feel, if you can, the small contrast between those two words, soft and rough. English is full of these little contrasts, these small pairs of opposite textures sitting side by side, and your ear, even now, even resting, is quietly learning to notice them. Now, listen to the verbs, the action words moving softly through this scene. The light filters, the branches sway, the moss muffles, the wind drifts. Notice how gentle these verbs are. None of them are sharp or sudden. They are sensory verbs, chosen to describe the quiet motion of a still and patient night. The wind drifts through the canopy. Once more, slowly, letting the vowels stretch a little longer than usual. The wind drifts through the canopy. Do you feel that? The elongation, the gentle stretching of the vowel sounds, wind, drifts. This is part of the natural music of English. Spoken slowly, with care, English has its own quiet melody, rising and falling like the branches above you. You do not need to copy it perfectly tonight. You only need to let your ear rest inside it, the way your body rests against the old tree. The moonlight rests on every leaf. Let's say it once more, unhurried. The moonlight rests on every leaf. As your eyes, even closed, even resting, imagine looking upward through this silver-filtered light. Let your attention now begin to shift, away from the high canopy, away from the leaves and branches above you, and downward, slowly, gently, toward the quiet, dark world of the forest floor. Downward, gently, toward the floor. There is a different vocabulary waiting for you down there, my friend. Quieter words, older words, the atmospheric language of the nocturnal forest floor. Let's walk toward it together now, slowly, breath by breath. Hidden rhythms of the night. The forest floor beneath you is dark and cool, carpeted with fallen leaves, curling ferns, and soft patches of thick, ancient moss. Nothing here moves quickly. Everything moves the way old things move, slowly, deliberately, with a rhythm shaped by many, many years. Somewhere nearby, unseen, small creatures stir. A hedgehog shuffles quietly beneath a fern. A field mouse pauses, listens, and continues on its way.
None of this disturbs the stillness, it only deepens it, the way a single ripple deepens the stillness of a quiet pond. Once upon this same night, long ago and also somehow now, it is said that the old leaves of this forest were gathered gently by the wind and carried to the roots of the oldest tree, where they were laid down softly, one by one, to rest through the winter. The leaves were not blown carelessly, they were carried tenderly, as if the wind itself understood that even fallen things deserve a gentle place to land. Notice, my friend, how that little story was told. The leaves were gathered, the leaves were carried, the leaves were laid down. This is called the passive voice, a soft, quiet way of telling a story where the action happens to something gently, without needing to name exactly who or what caused it. It is one of the gentlest structures in English, often used in old tales and quiet stories such as this one, and your mind, even resting, is absorbing its soft rhythm now. The path was covered in silver light. Let's whisper that slowly. The path was covered in silver light. The silence was broken only by the owl. Once more, gently, the silence was broken only by the owl. Far above, from somewhere near the topmost branches, the owl calls again, low, round, patient, and the sound seems to hang in the air for a long moment before dissolving softly into the dark. An owl called softly from the highest branch. Notice the past tense here, my friend. Called, not calls. This is how stories are often told in English, drifting gently into the past, as if the story has already always happened, and we are simply remembering it together, quietly in the dark. Let the rustling leaves around you rise again now, layered softly beneath the words, anchoring each new phrase, not in your thinking mind, but in your felt heart. This is important, and you do not need to try for it. It happens naturally, the way warmth settles into a blanket. When you hear a phrase alongside a felt sensation, the rustle of leaves, the low call of an owl, the cool night air, your brain does not store it as a fact to memorize, it stores it as an experience to remember. And experiences, my friend, last far longer than facts. The leaves rustled gently in the dark. Let this settle in alongside the sound around you. The leaves rustled gently in the dark. Something moved quietly through the ferns. Again, slowly, something moved quietly through the ferns. Notice too how your mind is no longer stopping at each word to ask what it means. You are not translating rustled or dissolving or anchored one by one into your own language. You are simply feeling the shape of the sentence, the mood it carries, the quiet story it tells. This is the beginning of flow, my friend, the moment when a language stops being a puzzle to solve and becomes instead a feeling to receive. Let yourself stay here a while longer in this soft, half-lit place between understanding and simply listening. There is nothing to get right tonight. There is only this, the hidden rhythms of the night, moving gently around you and through you and settling unhurried into the quiet folds of your resting mind.
The language of stillness. Now, my friend, let us go somewhere quieter still, somewhere beyond the leaves, beyond the owl, beyond even the small stirring of the forest floor. Let us go into the stillness itself. Notice, if you can, how the moon has moved slightly since you first entered this forest. It hangs a little higher now, a little further along its slow, patient arc across the dark sky. You did not feel it move. No one ever does. And yet, time here is passing, not quickly, not urgently, but the way a shadow lengthens across a lawn, so slowly that only patience can notice it at all. The moon moves slowly across the sky. Let's say that with long, unhurried vowels. The moon moves slowly across the sky. There is an old saying, my friend, one you may have heard before, though perhaps not in these exact words. Time heals all wounds. Notice this phrase. It is called an idiom, a small group of words that, together, mean something deeper than the words alone. Time does not literally hold bandages, and yet we understand, softly, warmly, what this phrase means, that with enough patience, enough stillness, enough slow passing of moons like this one, even heavy things become lighter. Time heals all wounds. Let it rest in your mind, unhurried. Time heals all wounds. Here is another, gentle and quiet, the calm before the storm. Even here in this peaceful forest, where no storm is coming, the phrase carries its own soft weight, a reminder that stillness often comes before change, and that both are simply part of the same slow turning of time. The calm before the storm. Once more, softly, the calm before the storm. Notice how these idioms are not single words to memorize, but small, complete feelings, collocations, we might call them, words that have grown so used to standing beside one another that they now belong together like old friends who have walked the same path for years. Deep sleep, heavy silence, soft moonlight, quiet night. Each pair belongs together, shaped by long use, by long comfort, the way two stones in a stream wear smooth against each other over many, many years. Deep sleep is settling over the forest. Let's whisper that slowly. Deep sleep is settling over the forest. A heavy silence rests upon the trees. Again, gently. A heavy silence rests upon the trees. Let these phrases loop now, softly, the way a stream loops gently around a stone, returning again and again to the same quiet shape. Repetition, my friend, is not boring here. It is medicine. Each time a phrase returns, softly, predictably, your mind relaxes a little further because it already half knows what is coming, and there is a deep, ancient comfort in that kind of gentle predictability. The forest is still. The forest is quiet. The forest is at peace. Let's say that once more, slower still. The forest is still. The forest is quiet. The forest is at peace. The forest is still. The forest is quiet. The forest is at peace. Feel how your own body has softened further with each repetition, how your breathing has slowed to match the pace of these words. This is the theta state, my friend,
the quiet, drifting place between waking and sleep, where the mind is calm but not unconscious, receptive but not straining. It is here, in this soft threshold state, that language settles most deeply, most permanently, the way seeds planted in soft spring soil take root far more easily than seeds thrown onto hard, dry ground. I am calm. I am still. I am ready to remember without trying. You do not need to do anything more right now. Simply rest here in this language of stillness and let the moon continue its slow, silent journey above you.
The River of Reflections. From where you rest beneath the old tree, you notice a narrow path leading away from the clearing, downward, gently sloping, toward the sound of moving water. There is no need to stand. There is no need to move your body at all. Only your mind needs to wander there now, drifting the way smoke drifts from a low, quiet fire. The path curves between tall ferns, their fronds heavy with dew, brushing softly against unseen shoulders as the way narrows and opens again. And then, quite suddenly, quite gently, the trees part, and there it is, a wide, slow river, its surface smooth and dark, holding the whole sky within it, like a bowl holds water. The river holds the sky within it. Let's say that slowly, letting the image settle. The river holds the sky within it. Notice how still the water is, not frozen, not lifeless, simply calm, simply patient, moving so slowly towards some distant sea that its motion is almost impossible to see. Only the smallest ripples, spreading outward now and then, remind you that it moves at all. The water moves so slowly it seems still. Once more, gently, the water moves so slowly it seems still. Upon its dark surface, the moon lies reflected, whole and silver, trembling faintly whenever the smallest breeze touches the water's skin. Around it, scattered stars glimmer too, small and countless, doubled now in this quiet mirror laid across the forest floor. The moon lies reflected on the water. Let's whisper that slowly. The moon lies reflected on the water. Stars are scattered across the dark surface. Again, softly, stars are scattered across the dark surface. Notice the word reflected. It is a gentle word, is it not? Describing something that shows itself again somewhere else without changing what it truly is. The moon in the sky and the moon in the water are the same moon, only seen twice, only softened by distance and stillness. Perhaps, my friend, learning a new language works a little like this too. The same understanding you already carry inside you, simply reflected now in new words, new sounds, a new surface, but never asking you to become someone different, only asking you to be seen, gently, in a second light. I am the same, only reflected in new words. Whisper that softly to yourself if you wish. I am the same, only reflected in new words. You sit now at the river's edge, though sitting is perhaps the wrong word, for your body has not truly moved,
Only your mind rests here weightless beside this slow and ancient water. A single leaf drifts past on the surface, unhurried, carried gently by a current too soft to see. A single leaf drifts slowly downstream. Let's say that once more, unhurried. A single leaf drifts slowly downstream. Somewhere across the water, a fish rises briefly, leaves a small, widening circle on the surface, and disappears again beneath the dark reflection of the trees. A fish rises quietly, then disappears again. Once more, softly, a fish rises quietly, then disappears again. There is nothing urgent here. There is nothing to solve, nothing to understand fully, nothing to hold on to. The river does not ask the leaf to hurry. The moon does not ask its reflection to be brighter. Everything here simply is, unfolding at its own slow pace. And you too, my friend, are invited only to be, unfolding gently at your own pace, tonight and every night that follows. I am unfolding gently at my own pace. Rest here a while longer beside the river of reflections, letting its quiet stillness settle even further into your chest, your shoulders, your softening hands. The sleeping animals of the woods. As you rest beside the river, your attention drifts once more, softly, back toward the wider forest around you, and you begin to notice, gently, that you are not truly alone here tonight. Nearby, curled beneath the wide roots of an old beech tree, a small fox sleeps soundly, its tail wrapped closely around its body like a warm, russet scarf. Its breathing is slow and even, rising and falling in a rhythm so steady it seems almost musical. The fox sleeps soundly beneath the roots. Let's say that slowly. The fox sleeps soundly beneath the roots. Higher up, tucked into a hollow in the old oak's broadest branch, a family of owls rests together, feathers fluffed against the cool night air, eyes closed for now. Their long watch over the forest paused until the deeper hours of the night call them awake again. The owls rest together, high in the old oak. Once more, gently. The owls rest together, high in the old oak. Somewhere in the deep grass beyond the clearing, a young deer lies folded quietly, legs tucked beneath its body, ears occasionally flicking toward some faint, faraway sound, though nothing here tonight is sharp enough to fully wake it. A young deer lies quietly in the deep grass. Let's whisper that slowly. A young deer lies quietly in the deep grass. It is said in the old stories of this forest that on nights like tonight, calm, moonlit, gently sung to sleep by rustling leaves, even the most restless creatures of the woods are finally soothed. The hedgehog stops its shuffling and instead curls into a small, contented ball beneath a fallen log. The field mice cease their quiet scurrying and settle together in a warm, shared burrow beneath the moss. Even the old river slows its pace a little further, as though it too wishes to rest alongside everything else tonight. Even the restless creatures are soothed tonight. Again, softly. Even the restless creatures are soothed tonight. Notice, my friend, how this whole forest breathes together, not in a single matched rhythm, but in many small rhythms layered gently over one another. The fox's slow breath, the owl's soft feathers settling, the deer's quiet stillness, the river's unhurried flow. And somehow, together, they form one larger, deeper calm, the way many small streams eventually gather into one wide, peaceful river. You are part of this now, too. Your own breath, slow and steady, has joined this quiet chorus of resting things. You do not need to do anything more to belong here. You already do. My breathing has joined the quiet rhythm of the forest. Whisper that gently. My breathing has joined the quiet rhythm of the forest. Let your body settle a little further now, heavier, warmer, safer here among the sleeping animals of the woods, each one resting quietly nearby, none of them needing anything from you tonight except your own peaceful, undisturbed rest. The second owl's song. And then, softly, into this deep and settled quiet, a sound rises once more, the call of the owl, though this time it is answered. From somewhere high in the old oak, the first owl calls, low and round, into the dark, and a long moment later, from far across the river, a second owl answers, its voice slightly higher, slightly softer, carried gently across the water on the cool night air. The first owl called, and the second owl answered. Notice again this gentle passive shape and the quiet storytelling tense. The first owl called, and the second owl answered. It is said in this forest that these two owls have called to one another this way for many years, long before you arrived here tonight, and long after you drift off to sleep. They will likely continue still. Neither call is ever rushed, neither call demands an immediate reply. Sometimes many long minutes pass, filled only with rustling leaves and the slow murmur of the river, before the second call finally comes. Many minutes passed before the second call was heard. Let's say that slowly. Many minutes passed before the second call was heard. And when it comes, it is never sharp, never anxious. It simply says in its own quiet language, I am here, I have heard you, all is well. I am here, I have heard you, all is well. Perhaps, my friend, this is not so different from the quiet, patient way you are learning tonight. A phrase is offered softly into the dark, and somewhere inside you, without hurry, without pressure, an answer begins slowly, gently to form, not spoken aloud yet, perhaps not even fully understood yet, but heard, held, and quietly growing, the way the second owl's reply grows somewhere across the still water long before it is finally sung. My understanding is growing quietly, even in silence. Whisper that softly to yourself. My understanding is growing quietly, even in silence. The two owls call to one another once more, their voices weaving gently across the dark forest, over the sleeping fox, past the resting deer, above the slow, reflecting river, and finally, softly, arriving here, beside you, beneath the old tree where you rest.
Before we let the forest carry you fully into rest, let us walk one final, slow circle together, back through the places we have visited tonight, gathering their quiet words once more. The way a hand gently gathers fallen petals from a table before blowing out a candle. Feel yourself rise, softly, weightlessly, from beside the old tree, and begin to walk again along the dark, soft path beneath the roots. You are not tired of walking. You are not eager to arrive anywhere. You are simply moving the way the forest itself moves, slowly, patiently, without destination. I am walking slowly, without needing to arrive anywhere. Let's whisper that gently. I am walking slowly, without needing to arrive anywhere. You pass again beneath the ancient canopy, where silver light still filters softly through oak and pine. The silver light still filters through the leaves. Once more, slowly, the vowels stretching gently. The silver light still filters through the leaves. You pass again the clearing where fireflies drifted, where the stream moved over smooth stones, where you first let your thoughts fall softly like leaves. I let my thoughts fall softly like leaves. Whisper that once more. I let my thoughts fall softly like leaves. You pass again near the sleeping fox curled beneath the beech tree, the resting owls tucked into the old oak, the quiet deer folded in the deep grass. The forest sleeps peacefully all around me. Let's say that slowly. The forest sleeps peacefully all around me. You pass again beside the river of reflections, where the moon lies mirrored on the dark, still water. I am the same, only reflected in new words. Once more, gently. I am the same, only reflected in new words. And you hear once more, faintly, the two owls calling to one another across the trees, the first call, and then, after a long, patient pause, the answer. I am here. I have heard you. All is well. Whisper that softly, one final time. I am here. I have heard you. All is well. Notice, my friend, how familiar these phrases already feel only a short while after you first heard them. This is not an accident. This is not effort. This is simply what happens when language is heard gently, repeatedly, wrapped in feeling and rhythm rather than rules and tests. Each time a phrase returns to you tonight, it settles a little deeper, the way footsteps on a soft path slowly shape a trail that becomes easier to walk each time you return to it. Each time I return to these words, they become easier to hold. Let that settle in slowly. Each time I return to these words, they become easier to hold. You need remember none of this by name tomorrow morning. You do not need to recall which section held the river, or which held the sleeping fox, or which held the owl's quiet answer.
All you need is what is already happening now, quietly, beneath your conscious thinking, a soft, steady gathering of rhythm, of sound, of the natural music of English, folding gently into memory, the way fallen leaves fold gently into soil, unseen, unhurried, becoming part of the ground itself. I am becoming part of this language, slowly, gently, completely. The path beneath your feet grows softer now, quieter, and the old tree comes into view once more, waiting patiently for you to return to it, as it always does.
The meadow of quiet voices. From the edge of the trees, the woods begin, gently, to open. The tight, close canopy above you loosens, and you step, in your mind, into a wide, moonlit meadow, its grass silver and soft, stretching further than the eye can comfortably follow. The meadow is wider than the forest. The sky here feels closer than it did among the trees. Notice these longer, open vowel sounds now, wider, closer, matching the openness around you. Where the forest whispered in short, close phrases, the meadow speaks in longer, unhurried breaths. This grass is softer than the moss beneath the old tree. This silence is the quietest you have felt tonight. Notice these gentle comparisons, softer, quieter, wider. English often measures one soft thing against another, not to judge, but simply to notice difference. The way you might notice one breath is a little slower than the last. Let your own breath lengthen now, matching the meadow's wide, unhurried space. I am opening. I am widening. I am releasing. The mountain's slow breath. Far across the meadow, faint against the dark sky, a mountain rises, not sharp, not threatening, only a soft, silhouetted shape, its peak dissolving gently into cloud. Beyond the meadow, beneath the stars, above the sleeping valley, the mountain waits. Notice these small words of place, beyond, beneath, above. They are quiet map makers, showing where one thing rests in relation to another. You cannot see the mountain clearly in this darkness, and that is all right. It might be covered in old pine. There could be a hidden path along its side. There may be a small stream somewhere near its base. These soft, uncertain words, might, could, may, do not need answers tonight. They simply hold space for wonder, the way darkness holds space for imagination. Breathe in as the mountain's shape seems to rise gently before you. Breathe out as it settles again into shadow. I rise gently. I settle softly. The lake of suspended time. Below the mountain lies a lake so still it seems to hold time itself suspended within it. This water has always been still. It has never truly left this quiet place, not once, not for 1,000 years. Notice these deeper time words,
has always been, has never left. They speak of things that began long ago and continue unbroken into now. By the time the first stars appeared tonight, the lake had already been resting here for centuries. Let this stillness settle into your own mind now. Just as sediment slowly sinks to a lake bed, let your thoughts too sink gently, settling into calm, clear quiet.
2. The dawn that never quite arrives. Far along the horizon, a soft dawn begins to suggest itself, not arriving yet, only promising gently that it will come, eventually, when you are ready. I am grateful for this night. I am growing quietly, even now. I trust my English is becoming stronger while I rest. Let the light stay distant a while longer. Let the darkness hold you softly still. Take a slow breath in through your nose. Hold it gently for 1 second and release it slowly through your mouth, like a door opening without a sound. Feel your shoulders drop. Feel your jaw soften. Feel the weight of the day sliding off you like rain off a leaf. Right now, all around you, imagine a 3-dimensional soundscape rising softly into being, not flat, not distant, but surrounding you. Somewhere to your left, a branch creaks quietly. Somewhere to your right, the wind moves through tall grass with a sound like a slow exhale. Above you, leaves whisper against each other, layer over layer, 1,000 small voices speaking a language older than words. This sound is not random. It is designed, gently, scientifically, to speak directly to a very old part of your brain, the part that has always known how to rest when it hears a forest breathe. When your ears receive this kind of layered, natural sound, your nervous system begins to shift. Your heart rate slows, your muscles loosen. A hormone called cortisol, the chemical of stress and alertness, begins to quietly fall. And here is the beautiful secret, my friend. When cortisol falls, a window opens, a soft, wide window in your mind through which language can enter without effort, without struggle, without the tightness of trying. This is the cognitive window for effortless acquisition. It is not something you force open. It opens on its own, the way a flower opens when the sun is gentle enough. So tonight, you do not need to study. You do not need to memorize. You do not even need to try to understand every word. Your only task, your only beautiful task, is to rest here at the threshold of the woods and let your subconscious mind quietly observe. Observe the rhythm. Observe the rise and fall of each sentence, the way English moves up like a hill and down like a valley. There is no pressure to translate. There is no pressure to repeat, unless you want to, softly, like a whisper following mine. Just let the patterns pass through you, the way moonlight passes through leaves, touching everything, holding nothing too tightly. Whisper this quietly in your mind if you like. I am safe here. I am open. I am learning without effort. Now, take one more breath, and as you exhale, imagine stepping forward past the last house light of the village, past the low wooden fence, onto a path of soft, dark earth. The threshold of the moonlit woods is just ahead of you. You are ready. Let's step inside together.
Entering the woodland. The path beneath your feet is cool and soft, covered in a thin layer of fallen leaves that do not crunch, only sigh as you walk. Tall trees rise on either side of you, their trunks silver gray in the moonlight, their branches reaching up like slow, patient hands. The forest is quiet tonight. Let's say that gently. The forest is quiet tonight. Above you, the moon hangs full and low, spilling soft white light between the leaves, scattering it across the ground like coins of silver. You notice how the light does not fall in one solid sheet, but in small, moving patches, shifting gently as the highest branches sway. The leaves scatter through the leaves. Once more, slowly. The leaves scatter through the leaves. You hear, somewhere far ahead, the low, round call of an owl, not sharp, not startling, soft, hollow, patient, like a question asked into the dark and answered only by silence. An owl calls softly in the distance. Let's repeat that together. An owl calls softly in the distance. As you walk deeper, the air grows cooler against your skin, carrying the smell of damp earth, of pine, of something green and quietly alive. You breathe it in slowly, and it settles your chest like a hand placed gently over your heart. The air smells of pine and damp earth. Again, gently. The air smells of pine and damp earth. You are not afraid here. This forest does not hold danger tonight, only stillness, only rhythm, only the long, slow breathing of something ancient and kind. Section 3. The clearing of rustling leaves. After some time, you cannot say exactly how long, for time moves differently here, the trees begin to part and you step into a small, round clearing. The grass here is soft and silvered with dew. In the center stands a single, wide, old tree, its roots curling above the ground like the arms of a chair. You sit down against it, and the moment you do, your whole body seems to exhale. Above you, a gentle wind moves through the canopy, and thousands of leaves murmur at once, a soft, continuous whisper that rises and falls like breathing. The leaves whisper in the gentle wind. Let's say that slowly. The leaves whisper in the gentle wind. You notice small, glimmering fireflies drifting between the low branches, their light blinking on and off like slow, silent thoughts. Fireflies drift quietly between the branches. Once more, softly. Fireflies drift quietly between the branches. Somewhere close by, a small stream moves over smooth stones, its sound low and constant, like a lullaby with no beginning and no end. A stream moves gently over smooth stones. Again, a stream moves gently over smooth stones. Here, in this clearing, your mind does not need to hold on to anything. Thoughts may drift through like the fireflies, appearing, glowing softly, and disappearing again without effort, without judgment. If a worry from your day tries to enter, simply notice it the way you would notice a leaf falling, and let it settle quietly onto the forest floor behind you. You do not need to pick it up tonight.
I let my thoughts fall softly like leaves. Whisper that gently to yourself. I let my thoughts fall softly like leaves. Section 4. The language of the woods. As you rest here, half dreaming, half listening, you begin to notice something remarkable. The forest itself seems to be speaking in slow, patient English, its sentences shaped by wind and water and wing. Let these phrases settle into you gently, the way dew settles on grass. There is no need to hold them tightly. Simply listen, and if you wish, repeat softly after me. The night is calm and still. Once more. The night is calm and still. I feel safe beneath these old trees. Again, gently. I feel safe beneath these old trees. My mind is quiet and open. Softly, one more time. My mind is quiet and open. I am learning without trying. Whisper it. I am learning without trying. The forest holds me gently tonight. One last time, slowly. The forest holds me gently tonight. Notice how these words do not feel like lessons. They feel like breathing. This is the quiet magic of learning while the body rests. New patterns settling into your mind the way soft moss settles over old stone, slowly, naturally, without force.